Hi Yuka, good to have you with us. Here in France, the Prime Minister has been proposing a one-off tax on extreme wealth. Taxing the rich, though, more generally speaking, it's been at the forefront of a budget battle here, and it's been a particularly divisive issue.
Yeah, that's right, Bo. The idea is tearing French politics apart, really. Yet inequality just keeps widening here and elsewhere. Data shows the world's richest 1% owns more wealth than the bottom 95% of the world's population put together. But when it comes to policy, only a few countries have a net wealth tax in place. Earlier, I spoke with Susana Ruiz, tax policy lead at Oxfam International, about why the super rich are paying proportionally less in taxes and why there's so much pushback against taxing them more.
I think it's not so controversial. It's a new common sense. And it's a simple response to a very critical question at this moment. If most of the governments, including France, need additional revenues to fund social policies and to avoid austerity plans, then the first question is where this money is. And at this moment, what we see, as you were saying at the beginning, is a skyrocketing level of wealth concentration on the super rich who are paying almost nothing, and at the same time, a level of profits by large corporations that are relatively undertaxed compared to average small companies in most of the country. So it's not, if we really want to improve and contribute to growth in the different countries, we need to reinvest in those who need it more. And this money is simply at this moment in the hands of the super rich and very profitable companies that are using many mechanisms to avoid paying those taxes. At this moment, what we've seen is a global architecture that has been trying to create new cooperation, international cooperation for taxing corporation, and a commitment also from the G20 last year in taxing the super rich. But the interests of some countries that are host or home of some of those more powerful companies and rich individuals is creating also the barriers to progress in this international cooperation.
In other news, Yuka, the US government has seized more than $14 billion worth of Bitcoin in a major crackdown on online.
Well, this is the fruit of a joint investigation by American and British authorities. Federal prosecutors in New York have charged the founder of a Cambodian business empire called the Prince Group, Chen Zi, accusing him of exploiting forced labor to defraud would-be investors in a massive cryptocurrency scam. It's the latest example of a growing problem of online scams, mostly operated out of the border area between Myanmar, Cambodia and Thailand. An investigation by AFP news agency has found that despite efforts to crack them down, these covert scam centres are continuing to expand. Caroline Baum has more.
In these images from February, workers freed from scam centres in Myanmar cross into Thailand to freedom. It's the result of a major cross-border operation. But despite these actions, these scam centres continue to thrive. These satellite images, taken in March and September of this year, show how one such compound grew over just 6 months. The roofs of the compound are plastered with what appear to be Starlink receivers. Using Elon Musk's technology, the scammers contact their victims via the internet.
For an American company to be enabling this humanitarian crisis, this national security threat, it's devastating, and it's disappointing that there's an American business profiting from this.
Crime has long run rampant in the borderlands between Myanmar, Thailand, and Laos, known as the Golden Triangle. And scam centers run by Chinese crime syndicates have flourished amid a civil war in Myanmar. Now, Starlink is under investigation by the US Congress.
Starlink being called to respond to a congressional inquiry is a great step forward. Makes us feel protected to know that our legislators are doing something about this problem.
According to US Treasury numbers, Americans are among the top targets of Southeast Asian scammers, losing around $10 billion last year. Starlink, which is part of SpaceX, was informed of criminal use of their satellites by California prosecutors in 2024. But the company did not respond.
We'll finish with a quick check on the markets.
Well, despite trade tensions flaring up again between the US and China, Wall Street stocks mostly rose this Wednesday, lifted by some strong corporate earnings reports. The Dow Jones ended the day flat. The S&P 500 gained 0.4 percentage point, and the Nasdaq rose almost 0.7%, as you can see there.